Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the third house, its lord, and its placement in different houses. The third house is very important because it has got the abilities to alter your luck. Yes, it is the seventh house to the house of your luck. So, based upon this position of the third house, you have got all the capacities, all the capabilities to alter your luck because it is going against the ninth house, which is not in your control. The ninth house is something you are carrying from your past lives. So it is based upon your karmas, you are getting some kind of luck. Whether you are deserving something or you are not deserving something, it is all based upon the ninth house. Now, the third house is being the opposite, will give you that power to change your luck. The third house is also one of the Upchaya houses, the houses of growth. So, if you are having planets placed in the third house or sixth house or your 10th house or 11th house, then it means that you are definitely going to have tremendous amount of growth in your life through your efforts. The third house, sixth house, and the 11th house are the Trishtaya houses, which means these are the houses in their Dasha period are bound to give us some obstacles, sometimes some disappointments also. And we'll see that many a times during the Dasha of the third Lord, the person is working tremendously hard, and despite that, the person is not able to get the right results. So it can give some disappointments. Whereas the third lord's good position in certain houses is bound to give you lots of good results. And if the third lord is placed with the lords of your Kendra houses or with the lords of your trinal houses, again it is bound to give you great results. So many planets that are placed in the third house are bound to give you very good results, especially the malefics sitting here are bound to make you strong, and they are going to give you lots of good results related to many things, related to your efforts especially. So you will be very powerful in terms of your efforts, and you will be able to alter many things through your sincere efforts or sincerity. If you have got benefics posited in the third house, they are going to make you very shy and timid. So that is the difference between the placement of benefics and malefics in your third house. Now, if you have malefics here, then they are going to also cause Argala in various houses. And I have made a video on the Argala. You can check it out in my video list. So malefics, if they are present here, they are going to activate certain houses. Argala is basically activation of certain houses in a positive or a negative manner. So malefics will activate uh, these houses. I will tell you what are those houses. So the 11th house is going to get Argala, the 12th house is going to get Argala, and the second house is going to get Argala, and the fifth house is going to get Argala through the placement of planets in the third house. Because a planet placed 5 houses away from a given house, 4 houses away from a given house, or 2 houses away from the given house, or 11 houses away from the given house is going to activate that house. So malefics are going to cause malefic activation, and benefics are going to cause benefic activation. So let's talk about the benefic activation first. So if you have got Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter in the third house, they are going to increase your income because they are going to cause a benefic activation on your 11th house. And these planets will also cause a benefic activation to your 12th house. 12th house is foreign lands, so you will prosper where it comes to the foreign lands. You will also prosper in terms of your bed pleasures, your sleeping habits, your spirituality. They are going to promote all those things which comes from the 12th house. And second house activation means that you are going to have enhanced uh, wealth with the placement of benefics in the third house, because they are activating your second house. Now they are also activating your fifth house because they are 11th to your fifth. So it means that they will help you become very creative, or they will increase your romantic interest, and you will also have good results coming through your children if you have benefics placed in the third house. Now, malefics sitting in the third house are going to disturb your income. So, income may not be very spontaneous. Sometimes you will feel some obstacles in that. 12th house, your sleep would be disturbed, or you may have some difficulties related to foreign lands, or you may have to repeatedly keep going to foreign lands for making short journeys. And to the second house means that you will find it very hard to save your wealth. Something or the other keeps coming up, and the money keeps getting wasted or uh, expended due to the placement of the malefics in the third house. Now, the malefics in the third house are also going to cause a malefic Argala on your fifth house. So it means that you will find that your relationships are not lasting, and you may have some difficulties related to having your own children or in acquiring your education, because the fifth house is about your abilities to acquire education. So if the fifth house is strong, it means you can study as much as you like. But if the fifth house is getting papargala, then there is a problem. But if the fifth house is getting shubargala through the benefics placed in the third house, you can study as much as you want. Now we will be talking about the placement of the third lord in various houses. Okay, one more thing I would like to tell you before beginning is that the third lord, wherever it sits in your entire horoscope, shows that you will have to work very hard in that house. That house will require your power of expression. You will express yourself through the house where the third lord is sitting, and that is the house where maximum efforts are needed through you. Now let's talk about the third lord's placement in your first house. Now, in the first house, it is sitting 11 houses away from itself. So it means you are yourself the founder of your luck. So you will make your luck through your own efforts. First is this. And you could be very fond of expressing yourself or working hard, or you could be an author, or you could be a dancer, depending upon the sign where the third lord is placed in the first house. Suppose the third lord is getting debilitated in the first house, then it means that you could be a lazy person, and sometimes you do things which are going to go against your well-being. So you do not take right decisions, or you do not work in the right direction. So based upon the sign where the third lord is sitting in the ascendant, the entire meaning would change. So it also means that you could be very fond of your siblings if the third lord is well placed in a well sign, in a good sign in your ascendant. But if the third lord is not sitting in a good sign in the ascendant, then there is a problem. Now the third lord sitting in the second house, it is sitting 12 places away from itself. So it means that you would be the person who doesn't like to work hard, because now the third lord has become weak. It is sitting in the Dusthana from itself, but it is sitting in your house of speech, in your house of wealth. So it means that you are required to put in maximum efforts into your second house of speech. So you could be a very powerful salesperson, but you could always be making plans about things to do. But when it comes to working on those things, you will stay away from that, because the third lord is now weakly posited. This position also means that you may take the assistance of your younger siblings in gaining your wealth. This position also means that your younger siblings may move away to foreign land and thereby help you in your growth of money. Third lord sitting in the third house is a very powerful position. It means it will destroy all the evils of the third house during its dasha. You will see that your efforts will be very powerful. You will have very good loving siblings, and you will be very communicative in every little thing that you do. You will be very fond of travels also. So net result is good. But what if the third lord is sitting in the third house, but it is a malefic? Even then you will get good results. And if it is a benefic, in both these conditions you will get good results. Talking about the third lord in the fourth house, so it is now sitting second to itself. So it means you will be able to make properties through your hard work. You will be able to make money uh, through your properties, through your own efforts. So there is also a possibility that you may study away from your homeland. So you may have to travel to study, and it can also hamper the health of your mother's well-being, because it is 12th to your 4th house. So mother's well-being may not be very good. So here she may have some disturbances, and sometimes you will have to work very hard in order to achieve good grades. That is also another possibility, because the hard work is required in your study. In your schooling days, you will have to study very hard. So now we'll talk about third lord's placement in the 5th house. Now it is sitting 3 places away from itself. Always remember that whenever a planet is sitting the similar houses away from itself, it is going to promote that house. So it means the third house is like greatly promoted through its presence in the 5th house. You are going to be very communicative. You are going to be very expressive about your communication, because third is sitting 3 houses away from itself. Now, the 5th house is all about your stage performance, how you perform in the presence of people. It is also the house of power. So, you could be very well posited in a government organization where you could be somebody who is the speaker, representative of the government, or you could be one of the actors or directors who are making movies. So this placement is very good for actors and directors if the third lord is sitting in the 5th house. It also shows that you could study those subjects which require use of hands, because the 5th house is going to tell you the subjects that you are studying. You are going to study because it is the aptitude that you have to study. So third lord sitting here shows that your subject of studies would be related to the use of hands. You could be an artist, you could be a dancer, you could be a physicist, you could be a mathematician, sorry, not mathematician, you could be a chemist, you could study chemistry, because in chemistry also use of hands is required. You will have to hold bottles of liquids, and in physics also. So wherever the use of hands is required, you will excel in that. The third house sitting in the 5th house can also make you a wonderful sports person. Now the third lord sitting in the 6th house. So it is sitting 4 houses away from itself, and it is sitting in the Kendra. So it is a good position. So it means that you will be very powerfully placed in terms of your efforts related to competition. You could get a job through competing, sitting in a competitive examination, and you could also be a wonderful sportsman. Here also it can make you a sportsman, because the 6th house is all about your well-being. It's also the house of health. Where it is the house of illness, it is also the house of your wealth, sorry, of your health. So third lord sitting in the 6th house can make you a powerful sports person. It can help you come up in competitive examinations. But the drawback here is that where it is going to destroy your diseases, it is going to cause some difficulties in terms of your relationship with your uncles and aunts, especially those related to your mother's side. Or it can give you some trouble related to having your servants or people who are employed by you. So because the living beings would be troubled by the presence of the third lord in the 6th house, but the enemies would be at bay, that is for sure. Now third house being the power of expression, so you are going to put all your expressions into your day-to-day life, because 6th house is your day-to-day life. Or if you want to go into the field of law, this is again a good placement, because you will put in all your expression into your work of defending your clients. So now we'll talk about the placement of the third lord in the 7th house. So being the Kama Trikona, 3, 7 and 11, these are Kama Trikona houses. So they will, third lord will do well sitting in the 7th house. So you are going to excel in terms of doing your businesses related to communication. You will see that your younger siblings are always supportive for you. And also third house is now sitting in trine to itself. If you count from third to the 7th, it is sitting 5 places away from itself. So it means that you could be well employed in a high profile job, or you could be working under a government organization in a very well off position. This placement can also give you many romantic relationships, because now the fifth house is also getting activated through the placement of the third lord in the seventh house. Now we will talk about the third lord's placement in the eighth house. This is not a desirable position at all. This is in fact one of the worst positions. Although the eighth house is about Trishtaya, sorry, it's a Dusthana. Third lord will be very negative here. First of all, it can make the person very self-destructive, because from its place, third lord is sitting 6 houses away, and then it is sitting in your eighth house, that is your Dusthana. So it is going to make things very worse for you, and you could be one of those people who could even think of ending up their lives if you have this combination. But there is a you can say exception. If the third lord and the eighth lord are same, like in the, you can say, in two ascendants, the third lord and the eighth lord would be same. So in that case, you will see that the person will not have negative results, rather it will give you very good results if the third and the eighth lords are same. So it can also give you um, it can also give you a job where you are into research work, you are into fact finding, and this placement can give you some trouble related to your neck or shoulder area. And this placement can sometimes give you some failing situation where you will see that you are putting in your efforts and the results are not coming easily, so you'll have to repeatedly put in your efforts to get the right kind of results. Now we'll talk about the third lord sitting in the ninth house. The ninth house is 7 places away from itself, so it means that this position is good for you to get the results of your efforts. So you could also be one of those people who may go against the dharma, because the ninth house is about dharma. But this placement is very good to study in a foreign land. So you may travel to study in a foreign land, and you will see that your efforts are getting rewarded by the grace of God. But this placement is not good for the well being of your mother or your father, because the third house or the third lord is seventh markage to your ninth house of father, and it is 12th to your fourth house of mother, and sitting 6 places away from your fourth house. So it is bound to give disturbance to the mother's well being and to the father's well being. So sometimes these people suffer in terms of happiness of their parents. But if the third lord is well placed here, then the results may be contrary, or if there is a benefic aspect falling on the third lord in the ninth house. We'll talk about third lord in the 10th house. This is a place where you will see that your talents or hobbies can become your profession, because third house is also about your hobbies or your talents, and associating itself with the 10th house will make sure that your talents have gained uh, importance and you have made a profession out of it. It is very good placement for those who are into acting field, or for those people who are bringing in major transformation through their career, because now the third lord is sitting 8 places away from itself and in your 10th house. So it is going to give you very powerful communication, and it is going to give you a profession where through your communication, through your efforts, you are going to bring in major transformations in the lives of people through your job. Now we'll talk about the placement of the one more thing before moving ahead. This placement can give you lots of travels in your job, because third house is about travels and 10th house is about your profession. So it can give you many travels through your job. Now the third lord sitting in the 11th house is a wonderful placement, because here it is sitting 9 places away from itself and sitting in the house of wish fulfillment, and also one of the Upche houses or Trishtaya houses. So here it will do very well. You will see that through your communication abilities, you are able to convince people, you are able to come in contact with large group of people, or work for large group of for a big organization where your speaking skills could matter a lot. So you could be an event manager, or you could be a salesperson, you could be a trader, or you could be simply making videos like me in YouTube, and you could gain through that. So media work also suits these people, or advertising or sales is very suitable for the people who have their third lord in the 11th house. Now lastly, third lord in the 12th house is not a desirable position in some respects, but good position for getting a job in a foreign land, because third lord is sitting 10 places itself and sits in the 12th house. So it means 12th house is foreign lands, 12th house is hospitals, and 12th house is jails or water bodies. So you can be well employed in marine industry, or in jails, or as doctors, or you could get a job in a foreign land. But the problem with this is that because it is sitting in one of your dusthanas, these people could be very lazy. They do not believe much in working hard. That is the problem with these people. And otherwise, it is going to be very good for you if you find a job related to the 12th house. So good placement. And another thing is that the third lord in the 12th house can either take away your siblings, you may not have any younger siblings, or if they are well posited in the 12th house, like in case of I'm not able to get the example, but if the third lord is very well placed in a good sign in the 12th house, it can give you a sibling who may be placed in a foreign land. So friends, this was all about the placement of the third lord in various houses, and little bit about the third house. So stay connected, and I'm going to bring up my next video very soon, and do share it with your friends. And if you think that you have gained something through this video, do press the like icon so that I get lots of encouragement and motivation for my next video. Thank you all.